right now on News Channel 8 at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Lee.
And I'm Keith Kay. Thank you for joining us. Let's get right to this weather situation we're having right now. Rainstorms sweeping through the Bay Area right now. You can see 22nd Street in Tampa covered in water. Several streets are now shut down because of flooding, in fact. Unfortunately, the rain is forcing us to cancel our Tampa Bay Lightning Watch Party. Oh, would have been so much fun, but this weather's just is not letting up. Coming up in 2 minutes, the rain can't put our Bolts pride on hold. We're going to have team coverage of the Road to the Cup from Tampa to Chicago. But first, let's go right over to our Storm Team 8 Chief Meteorologist Steve Jervey to tell us a little bit more about these storms. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Keith, record rainfall at the airport, over 2 inches of rain. The old record, 1.88 inches of rain. So it was an impressive amount there. But get this, observed at a place in South Tampa, a gentleman who observes weather over 6 inches of rain. So South Tampa in particular is flood prone. And as a result, they've been getting extreme flooding there. 8/100s out at the Lowe's Don Cesar at St. Pete Beach. So not as bad. You can see western Citrus County. They're asking, what kind of rain you guys talking about? 1/100 there, 84 degrees. A little bit warmer there. We've seen rain-cooled air as well. But Sun Toyota in Newport Richey, 2.3 inches of rain, 72 degrees. And note the rainfall here at Hula Bay on the Tampa side, 1.5 inches of rain. So it's been a wet day and remains the showers and thunderstorms coming off the Gulf and northern spots as well. So you may still see some rain in those northern counties, Citrus, Hernando, and certainly Pasco, which is pretty much covered with it right now. And heavier rain, the western parts of Hillsborough County, Carrollwood up to Keystone, almost to Lutz, then over to Palm Harbor, Safety Harbor, and down to Clearwater, too. Very consistent rains there. And now developing stuff around Fishhawk, farther south, Waimama, Sun City Center. Over to Polk County, you can see some rain moving into the southern sections, Hardy, DeSoto, Highlands, scattered all over the place, especially Highlands County, some heavier rain. And important to point out, too, more rain back to our west. That's why we'll keep that possibility of thunderstorms in the forecast throughout the evening hours. Now, estimates from Doppler radar say maybe as much as 5 to 6 inches of rain, but these colors will continue to get darker on this map. You can see this was measured about 20 minutes ago. 5, maybe 6 inches of rain observed, as we say. That's been confirmed on the ground. So these are flood-prone regions, roads. That's why we're seeing the extreme flooding and more rain on and off still possible throughout the evening hours.
All right, thank you, Steve. And remember, you can check the radar at any time with our free Storm Team 8 Weather Max app. And this weather situation continues. Jen, we've seen some crazy video out of South Tampa.
Yeah, particularly out of the Dale, Mabry, Henderson area. And that's where we find our own Lauren Make standing by. Some street flooding there. We've already seen some cars, as you can see there, that have misjudged the water situation, the flooding situation in the street. Lauren, are you on the ground there? Can you bring us up to date with what you see at this moment?
Yeah, good evening, Jen and Keith. Let me show you where we are right now. We're at Dale, Mabry, and Neptune here. And you can see that there is a lot of water here. Some of these cars are making it through here, but we did have a few cars that have stalled out and people were wading through the water to get to the other side. Actually, I just spoke with a gentleman who was trying to get to the other side because he wanted to get to his kids who are at a daycare nearby. So just trying to figure out how he could make it across. As you can see, the water is actually coming down here a little bit. We think it was up a little bit higher before we got here, but taking things slowly is really the key when you come across water like this. If you don't have to go through it, don't do it. As you can see over there, that's a car that they just pushed out of the middle of the intersection because it stalled right in the middle there and didn't make it through. There is another one over there. That one didn't make it through either. We saw the driver get out of there and just sort of wade across the water to get to the other side. So again, we are at Neptune and Dale Mabry here, where the water does appear to be going down a bit, but it's causing some trouble out here tonight. Keith and Jen, back to you.
And Lauren, I'm watching cars continue to drive, small cars continue to drive through that flooding right behind you. So folks kind of taking things into their own hands, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren Make reporting live for us.
Yeah, a lot of times they think they can get through.
Yeah, and it's often not worth the risk. Hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars in damage you can cause to your car if you make the wrong judgment there. Yeah. All right, we'll check back with you in a bit, Lauren. Thank you.
guess people really need to be somewhere. You can't take a way around.
Nope.
All right. Rain or shine, Game 4 will go on tonight as the Lightning fight for the Stanley Cup. Now, the Bolts will take on the Blackhawks in Chicago in just a few hours from right now.
Very exciting times. We were all excited to host a watch party tonight, but unfortunately, this bad weather we've been reporting on has forced us to cancel. We have Lightning team coverage with Rod Carter, who's all the way up in Chicago, where apparently it's beautiful. But first, let's get straight to Candace McCowan at Curtis Hickson Park, where the news is just sinking in about the cancellation.
Yeah, Keith, Jen, the party on Monday night was so epic out here. There were so many people that were ready to come down here tonight for another party and see the Lightning bring home another victory. Well, it was too damp out here for that. Lightning officials called it off, saying safety concerns. And if you take a look behind me, you can still see the mini puddles out there. The rain is on a short break here, but I understand it might come back later on this evening. The screens have come down. The food trucks are gone for this evening. But still, there were some fans who were ready to brave the elements. And we talked to them a little while ago.
We brought some sticks. We brought a goal. We're going to shoot a few balls, a few chairs. Just come to hang out, enjoy the game.
I totally understand if you don't want to come out in this. I mean, I like the rain, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I'm not going to call out anyone for not wanting to sit out while it's thundering and lightning. I mean, we're Be the Thunder, but, you know, yeah, you can only do so much, I guess.
Yeah, and those fans tell me they're headed now to Ferg's to grab a bite to eat and watch the game there, where several others will be watching. But again, the party here at Curtis Hickson Park this evening has been canceled due to weather and safety concerns. Keith, Jen?
All right, thank you, Candace. We won't shoot the messenger here because we know you're just bringing us the news, but we are still very bummed about it. Thank you. Our team coverage continues tonight all the way from Illinois.
Yeah, Rod Carter is on the road with the team to show us what's cooking in Chicago. Back to you, Rod. What you eating on? And I had to laugh when you said you're not eating your way across Chicago by choice. You're very selective in what you're choosing to eat.
I'm going to call it nibbling my way across Chicago. You know what? I popped into an area today in the South Shore area of Chicago. It's a little spot that actually is food for the soul. And to be honest with you, it was a restaurant that wasn't even planned. It just kind of sort of came to be. BJ's Market and Bakery is a quaint spot that specializes in food for the soul.
The restaurant's named after my son, Brandon John, and Brianna Onita, my daughter.
And this is the man behind BJ's.
My mother didn't want me to cook. She wanted to teach my sister to cook.
He's John Meyer, a trained chef with a penchant for soul food.
A lot of recipes are from my mother and grandmother, and so I would call this Southern comfort food or soul food, and this is something I grew up with. The food, the menu here is something I grew up with.
BJ's is on the list of wagered items from Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Sugar, cinnamon,
including homemade peach cobbler, his grandmother and mother's recipe.
As the #1 dessert here.
And then this, the mustard fried catfish, is something his mother said he messed up by adding too much. Turns out it's his bestseller, and even his mom loves it. This place, by the way, started sort of by accident in 1997.
Yeah, another restaurant is called the Retreat Restaurant, and on Sunday we had soul food buffet. And a lot of my customers said, why don't we have a restaurant just for the soul food? And that's what I did. That's why we became BJ's Market and Bakery.
All right, so John has 3 locations throughout Chicago. One of those locations actually in Chicago O'Hare. And Jen, just for the record, just so you know, I'm flying out of O'Hare tomorrow. I'm just saying. Take from it what you want.
Yeah.
Coincidence? I don't know.
If the plane can get off the ground, Rod, after all of that. Oh, come on, I'm funning with you.
Thank you, Rod.
You know.
You're done.
Oh, this just got real.
You started it. You started it.
Thank you, Rod. If you are looking for another way to get lightning fever, we've got a list of interesting stories in our lightning section on WFLA.com, like a local restaurant naming their burgers after hockey teams.
Well, our hockey team coverage continues with a battle over an old tradition, beard or no beard. That's the question we're getting to the bottom of coming up.
But first, people are reacting to comments made by sportscaster Bob Costas, why he's criticizing ESPN for honoring Caitlyn Jenner with a Courage Award.
Also ahead tonight, the FBI spent months tracing leaked nude photos of celebrities. We'll tell you about the man who is now at the center of their investigation.
$29,000 for emergency.
A markup of 970%. Who does that?
A CAT scan and an MRI.
5 Bay Area hospitals top the list for price gouging. Why some are calling for the industry to be regulated. Next at 6.
Sweetheart, I ask no more than this. A kiss to build a dream on.
It's the final markdown. Hudson's Furniture's inventory reduction sale held over. Everything's marked down. 50, 60, up to 80% off. Even the good stuff. Ends Monday at Hudson's Furniture.
At Mosaic, knowing more about nature makes us better at our job.
Our job? Plant millions of trees. Conserve and recycle water.
And make clean, renewable energy.
What we've learned, we also teach.
The Mosaic Coastal Education Center teaches local students the importance of the environment
and how to protect it.
Mosaic, workplace for today's ecologists.
Classroom for tomorrow's.
Medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in America. And more shocking is that the same doctors commit the same malpractice over and over again. Birth defects, brain damage, cerebral palsy, cancer misdiagnosis, and yes, even death. Doctors and hospitals have insurance to protect you when mistakes are made. Don't wait to pursue your claim. Time can run out. A lifetime is a long time. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Choosing from the $4 menu is not for the indecisive. Incredible values await. Behold the original double steak burger meal. The taco salad and chili cheese footlong meals. The garlic double steak burger meal.
What's that sound, Master?
Kung Fu elbow. Try it.
The $4 menu, where all meals are under $4 at Steak and Shake. It's the final markdown. Hudson's Furniture's inventory reduction sale held over. Everything's marked down. 50, 60, up to 80% off. Even the good stuff. Ends Monday at Hudson's Furniture.
Closed captioning brought to you by the personal injury lawyers at the Fernandez firm. Car accident? Call the Fernandez firm. We don't get paid unless we win, and we want to win.
We are getting new information this evening about the massive hack that released nude celebrity photos all over the internet last year. The FBI traced the source of the leaks to a 30-year-old man who lives with his parents in Chicago. Computers found in Emilio Herrera's home revealed there may be hundreds more potential victims. It's not clear yet whether he was the actual hacker or if he was just used as a front.
Bob Costas is getting a lot of attention today for criticizing ESPN's decision to present Caitlyn Jenner with the Arthur Ashe Courage Award.
Awarding the Arthur Ashe Award to Caitlyn Jenner is just a crass exploitation play. It's a tabloid play.
Costas stressed that he believes it's good we're moving towards a more tolerant society, but he thinks there were many other current athletes who should have been chosen. Jenner set a world record in the decathlon at the 1976 Summer Olympics.
Now, you may have noticed most of the hockey players looking pretty hairy lately. As we get closer to the Stanley Cup, the traditional beards get longer. Yeah.
Coming up after the break, why the chairman of NBC Sports wants the players to stop growing their facial hair.
John's a service tech for 1 hour. True. He basically lives on the road. True. This is because people can save a fortune by upgrading their systems. True. And that is why John is so busy.
For maintenance and replacement programs, call 1 hour.
Now John's going to let me drive.
Not true.
Enjoy your new Shield.
Thanks. How much did you spend on this?
Nothing. It was free, and they put it in just a day.
Well, if it was free and they put it in that fast, how good could it be?
You tell me.
She's got a Sloman Shield, the ultimate home security system. It's free, and yes, it's real good.
Okay, the system's great, honey. Please disarm it.
My name is Sandy, and I live in the St. Pete, Tampa area, and this is my brand new Hyundai. I purchased my new car over a week ago, and I am so happy. This car has America's best warranty, 10 years and 100,000 miles. Hyundai has America's best warranty.
Get an Elantra for 0% APR for 5.5 years or $32.50 in bonus cash. Make the smart move and get to your Suncoast Hyundai dealer.
The beast was as long as the boat. For 7 hours we did battle until I said, "You will not beat me!"
Greg, what should I do with your fish? Gary, just put it in the cooler.
If you're a fisherman, you tell tales. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Put the fish in the cooler!
Florida Leather Gallery's $10 million leather sell-off is on, and it's the biggest sale in Florida Leather Gallery's history. Save up to 60% and more on 100% genuine leather from the world's finest manufacturers. Natuzzi editions, Stressless, Palliser, and more. For a limited time, take advantage of 12 months interest-free financing and save up to 60% and more on sofas, sectionals, recliners, even home theater seating during Florida Leather Gallery's $10 million leather sell-off. Don't miss this opportunity. When these deals are gone, they're gone. Only at Florida Leather Gallery.
John's a service tech for 1 hour. True. He basically lives on the road. True. This is because people can save a fortune by upgrading their systems. True. And that is why John is so busy.
For maintenance and replacement programs, call 1 hour.
Now John's going to let me drive.
Not true.
As we make our way along the road to the Stanley Cup, there is a bit of controversy brewing, and it centers around those beards the Lightning and Blackhawks players are sporting.
Apparently, a network television executive would prefer the players lose those now familiar beards. Josh Thomas joining us now live from outside Amalie Arena with that story.
Good evening, Keith and Jen. By now, we know that hockey fans are accustomed to seeing their favorite Lightning players with more facial hair than ever before. In the NHL playoffs and Stanley Cup final, it's part tradition, part superstition. Most of the players still competing for the Stanley Cup appear to look more like Grizzly Adams than 20-something-year-olds. That's because of a tradition started in the 1980s to not shave until the Stanley Cup is over.
I'm getting used to noticing who the players are with a different facial look.
She follows the team scraggly look and all. Bolts player Brian Boyle weighed in on his look.
I like the tradition, and my beard's pretty awful, so I look like a pirate.
But the chairman of NBC Sports, Mark Lazarus, has suggested NHL players stop growing the beards, telling the Chicago Tribune, "I know it's a tradition and superstition, but I think the beards do hurt recognition." Former Lightning player Brian Bradley shared with me what the players probably thought when they heard that.
I think they just probably thought about it. They laughed because, you know what, that's just someone from the outside that hasn't played in the professional level.
Nathan Cartmel has grown a beard in solidarity with the Bolts players. He thinks the beards add character and doesn't hurt their recognition.
And they wear jerseys with their names on the back, you know. I mean, people know who they are. I don't think it harms, as a product that you're watching on television, I don't think them having a beard harms it. I think it actually creates more awareness for it.
And then, of course, there's the opposite attractions perspective.
I like a guy with a beard. Absolutely.
As for whether any players would shave before the final is over.
Right now, it would go against luck, and you don't want to change Lady Luck.
Now, I'm not sure what all the fuss is about, because I've heard, quite frankly, that men with beards can be sexy. But seriously, the Lightning players, quite frankly, probably do not care about their appearance as much as what they'll look like when they're holding up that Stanley Cup. Jen and Keith.
You know,
yeah,
we see
we're with you.
Exactly what you're saying. We totally get it.
Understand what the big deal is.
I think the boss is happy with this look we're going with right now.
Right.
So,
I mean,
so go Bolts.
Let's take this show on the road, shall we? Circus or us?
Hey, you could show us your hockey beard. Just download our free News Channel 8 app and share your pics. I think I just ate some beard.
Did you? That's the danger. And if you're a new fan, we've got you covered. Learn Hockey 101 with a great video on WFLA.com.
I just shaved.
You did.
And just took it off.
Good look there, guys. This is a shot from the downtown area. As you know, Curtis Hickson Park has canceled. The Lightning have canceled, along with News Channel 8 and Bud Light would cancel this event down at Curtis Hickson, obviously because of the rain and the gathering of the water there, the muddy conditions and the consistent rain and the possibility of showers, maybe even thunderstorms in the forecast for the evening hours for obvious reasons. But I have no doubt that folks will find a place to watch the game, and hopefully another Lightning victory tonight. That's a view from Freedom Plaza down Sun City Center. An inch of rain. Seen another surge of showers across the southern part of Hillsborough County. The view from Lake Club and Lakewood Ranch. Not as much rain as we've been reporting. Many spots did not see really anything. Other spots saw a whole lot. Lows Don Cesar 77 degrees. 1/10 of an inch of rain. Mike Moffat in South Tampa picking up some of the flooding and getting reports of 5 to maybe 6 inches of rain. Actually over 6 inches of rain in South Tampa. This is actually in Kissimmee and Osceola County, but a very similar view over there. John Kruger getting the local flooding, not just in the Bay Area. 40% rain chance for Thursday, 30%, a little bit drier, a bit more sunshine for Friday, and the rain chances essentially seasonal levels, but slightly below perhaps as we hit essentially on Friday. Showers and thunderstorms back to the west of us. You can still see generating across Hillsborough, Pinellas County, all the way up into Pasco County. Over 2 inches of rain at our Sun Toyota camera. Rain is still possible. It's kind of surging your way. The intensity isn't as great as it was an hour or two ago, though. Farther south, flood advisory for sections of Highlands County, Lake Placid South, right along the highway there. Can't think of the number of the highway right now. Sorry about that. Showers farther back to the west. You can see offshore, and they continue to move onshore into Pinellas County. That's why we have that possibility of seeing showers in the forecast for the evening. 80 for the evening. Rain cooled 74 degrees at daybreak. 89 degrees in the afternoon. Clouds, some sunshine, and the rain chances too, but not as great as they were. Getting back to more of a southerly and southeasterly flow eventually. 72 Tampa International Airport. Clouds continue. Upper level disturbance, and again, deep atmospheric moisture in the southwest flow for us is always a wet flow. That keeps the rain chances high, and that'll be there in the forecast throughout the evening hours, probably into the early morning hours as well. There you see the rain and the possibility of showers in the forecast, even into the early morning hours, then kind of quieting throughout this period, and then throughout the day, the early part of the day, rain chances still possible, but not in the quantity we saw today. So we'll keep the rain chance tomorrow, 40%. 92 for Friday for a high. Rain chances 30%, 40% for Saturday, 30% for Sunday. High temperatures, low 90s through this period. And again, the overnight lows too are warm because the humidity is very high. Odd, Keith, that you'd be blonde and actually grow that black beard like that, but it was a good look.
Yeah, I would thought the bearded lady over here. Come on now.
Well, I knew
that's a whole new thing.
Listen, if you eat enough spinach, man, you can grow that thing in a hurry. Not a problem.
All right, thank you, Steve. Well, we're having a little fun.
Yeah, our hockey beards. A police department is catching a lot of heat for what they did to 2 little girls.
Coming up after the break, the officer's excuse for shutting down a lemonade stand.
Super Sports Sunday. Sunday at 11:30 only on News Channel 8.
$29,000 for emergency.
A markup of 970%. Who does that?
A CAT scan and an MRI.
5 Bay Area hospitals top the list for price gouging. Why some are calling for the industry to be regulated. Next at 6.
See what everyone's talking about. Tampa Bay's top-rated news app is just a download away.
It's the multi-million-dollar sell-off going on right now at Mater Brothers. Save up to 80% on famous brands you love, plus one-of-a-kind pieces at rock-bottom prices. It's a bargain hunter's paradise at the multi-million-dollar sell-off only at Mater Brothers.
It can be hotter than Death Valley in your attic. Take these boxes. They're not only perfect for storing old yearbooks and pictures, they're also a perfect food source and nesting material for roaches. That's why I use treatments specific to Tampa St. Pete. Orkin, pest control down to a science.
At 1-800-ASK-GARY, we give back. For over a decade, 1-800-ASK-GARY has been the trusted name in finding help for accident victims. And from tough times to community celebrations, we support the efforts of many of our local charities, like the fight to find a cure for cancer with the Roskamp Institute of Sarasota. Compassion, time, education, support, hope. 1-800-ASK-GARY, partnering with our community. We give back. A medical and legal referral service, non-attorney spokesperson.
Never seen the sky so blue. The birds are singing, I got nothing to do. Hey, 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 hey. It's a sunny day. Sunny day now. My pocket's empty, my cupboard's bare. But call me illogical, I just don't care. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. It's just a
Vacation in color. Visit Sarasota.
Save up to $200 on 4 tires at Tire Kingdom. Get $100 off instantly, plus another $100 after rebate with your Tire Kingdom credit card. Get ready for summer at Tire Kingdom.
It's the multi-million-dollar sell-off going on right now at Potter Brothers. Save up to 80% on famous brands you love, plus one-of-a-kind pieces at rock-bottom prices. It's a bargain hunter's paradise at the multi-million-dollar sell-off only at Potter Brothers.
Storm Teammate meteorologist Lee Spann is on your side.
Taking a look right now at what's making headlines across America. The police officer who slammed a 14-year-old girl to the ground and pulled his gun at a pool party near Dallas has turned in his badge. The video of Corporal Eric Casebolt has sparked massive protests. He announced his resignation after his chief called his conduct out of control. At a press conference this afternoon, his lawyer said Casebolt's family have been forced to leave their home after receiving several threats. Police in Texas are getting a bad rap online after shutting down a lemonade stand. Look at this. 2 little girls were trying to raise money for a Father's Day present, but the officer said it was illegal because they didn't have a permit and they needed a health department inspection. Well, the girls plan to do it again this weekend, but instead they will give away the lemonade for free and just accept donations.
Well, News Channel 8 at 6 is coming your way next, and here's a look at what we're working on tonight.
Heavy rain causing some serious flooding in South Tampa. We'll have an update on the forecast, including when the rain is going to let up.
That's coming up at 6, and also tonight.
I'm Stacy Scheibel at the United Center in Chicago, where we are waiting for Game 4 between the Blackhawks and the Lightning. And tonight at 6, you will meet a diehard Bolts fan.
Boxing champ Antonio Tarver lost his car, his house, his watch, and he could still lose his freedom after a hearing here at court today. I'm Mark Douglas. That's our story tonight.
I'm Shannon Bankin. Do some Bay Area hospitals price gouge patients? Coming up, I have information you need to save money at the hospital.